Hello there, welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly and I'm so excited you're here tonight for a 2-page layout that is so fun and so colorful. Won't you quickly take a moment to hit subscribe and the notifications bell so you don't miss any future inspiration? It sure helps me out a lot. So we are diving right into our brand new January-February catalog, which launched on New Year's Day. And we're looking at Let's Party. And all of these colors, they're so vibrant, they're going to make you feel like having a party. What I love about the Let's Party collection is that it lends itself to young, to old, to masculine, to feminine. You can draw out the reds and the pinks and be more feminine. You can draw out the blues and the greens and be more masculine. We have a great stripe. We have a sprinkle. We have a hero paper that is more theme specific. We have word paper. We have everything in that. Tonight we're using the Let's Party Scrapbooking Workshop Kit, which has the pattern paper and sticker sheet that I just showed you. It has 2 additional sheets of pink specialty paper and an additional sheet of a blue linen specialty paper, as well as the black and white dot. Now you can see that I've cut into that, but it also has some corresponding die cuts as well. You get 2 sheets each of the coordinating cardstock, and I'm going to add a little bit of grounding black because let me tell you, this is colorful and we're going to need to work on balance. And you can see all of the black words in there and the black accents, and it's going to work perfectly. Now there are die cuts that come right in the Let's Party Scrapbook Workshop Kit. And I've punched out this cute swirly frame, but I'm also keeping the negative space just in case. I'm not going to use the negative space on this layout tonight, but I just wanted to point out that I'll even keep some of the throwaway pieces because you may be able to use really cute bits and pieces off of the throwaway pieces. Now here's a die cut frame that actually coordinates with this specialty paper that I already showed you, that is similar to be used as a gutted frame like we often do. So I do have some things already in my junk gypsy tray. I've punched out some of the die cuts. I've actually done some stamping and thin cutting, but let's take a look at some of those die cuts that I did punch out of the sheet already. So some people call these punch outs, some people call these die cuts, but these come in our scrapbooking workshop kits and they're similar to Cricut cuts and the added embellishments. We also get a set of acrylic shapes that come in the kit. They're abbreviated. A lot of times we get a smaller set of embellishments that come in the kit because we get the added specialty paper. When they add all of those extra sheets of specialty paper, we get an abbreviated set of shapes or dots or that type of thing. But I'm going to actually add the full die cuts, and let's actually take a look at those in the catalog. It's easier to see them. So you have some of the acrylic shapes that can layer on top of each other, some of those that coordinate together, and then of course we also have the Let's Party digital collection. I didn't happen to use it on this layout, but I may use it in the rest of my layouts in this workshop. I did, however, add the Let's Party scrapbooking stamp and thin cuts. I think they're very versatile. I do sometimes add those when I think that I can use those for a variety of things. So my layout tonight is celebrating my son's 30th birthday, which was actually a couple years ago, but the number dies allow you to be able to choose any birthday number that you wish or any year that you wish. It comes with a balloon thin cut, a party hat thin cut, and a present thin cut, and coordinating fun stamps. And I think I did show you the checkered Build-A-Plaid in there, which is really, really cute. So I went ahead in true fashion and I just stamped a variety. I don't know how many I'm going to need, but I did some balloons from the balloon thin cut in the coordinating colors, a variety of of colors, I actually went ahead and I added some doodling on those with the white gel pen. You could add doodling on with a black lip pen. You could add some doodling on with the white gel pen. I just love that look. I did find some cute little pockets on the Cricut, and I actually did cut some of those as well. I don't know how many I'm going to need. I took a few stickers off the sticker sheet, and I took the sticky off of those stickers with my anti-static pouch to add those to the tray. I didn't add all of the stickers just yet, but I do plan to add most of them. There are a lot of tiny stickers in the sticker sheet this time. So in review, in our workshop kits, they come complete with a full workshop already designed for you and full workshop instructions, and it creates an adorable 6-page workshop. So you always have the option to just pull that out of the workshop kit and put that together. It's what I love about Close to My Heart. They're the let me show you how company. And so you can do that, or I always offer alternative instructions where I use inspiration from the catalog and the catalog layouts, but I also use my own flair as well. And I loved this grid style layout that is a focal or feature layout in the catalog. And I love that. I love to use the bits and pieces that I really, really appreciate in the catalog and change them up to suit my photos and my needs. I don't know why I'm blurring out a little bit here. I apologize. But I wanted to add the pockets. Now, there is a lady out there. She is, I think she calls herself the boss lady or the scrapbooking boss, Victoria Marie Designs. And I did see a pocket layout that she did with all flowers. And I loved how she toggled the photos top and bottom, added the pockets to the middle, and just filled the middle up with florals. Obviously, I'm not going to use florals tonight, but I was also reminded of a cute little pocket that we have on our Hey Handsome, in our Hey Handsome workshop that was from the past that I used in a similar way, where I filled the pockets, and I thought how fun it might be. And I found this pocket, and I love to use overlays. You all know, if you followed me, that overlays are one of my signatures, that I use those a lot, but I liked that we could maybe use a wide stitched pocket for the background overlay on this. We can face the pocket arrow toward the right, toward the top, toward the left, toward the bottom. I do settle on the bottom, and I actually settle on a black base because this is a colorful workshop. There are so many colors in this workshop that this video is going to focus on color balance a lot. And I really feel that we needed to tone some things down by anchoring them in black. Now, my photos are of my son, Zachary Allen, and his 30th birthday a couple years ago. He is a country kid. He's 6'7", but he'll always still be my little boy. This picture, he blew out the candles, and I said, wait, you got to pretend to do it again because I didn't get the photo. So he's faking that he's blowing out the candles again, which I thought was so cute. And I got a variety of little snaps, him with my husband Dana, and him with me, and him with my daughter-in-law. Goodness, I'm so sorry, you guys. Let me hold these away a little bit. Him by himself, him wearing his birthday bolero hat, him with his wife and baby. And so I did a variety, and most of the colors coordinate with the scheme. There's a darker blue and a lighter blue. There's some red in my husband's jacket. There are all of the colors that I can make work in this color scheme. There's even a little Sundance color in the cake, which Sundance is in this workshop as well. And so I'm really excited about making this work for an older birthday. At first glance, you often will see like, something and you'll stereotype it like juvenile, that it has to be little child birthday. But what I love about this set is that I'm able to use it for older birthday as well. So I actually wasn't sure about my sizes. I'm not always good at depth perception. deception in sizes. So I got onto my Cricut and I just sort of made some pieces so that I could kind of know what I'm going to be working with. So I wanted to create those Cricut bases at 11.5 inches. So they are 11.5 by 11.5 from the point down below to the top. And then of course I have a 12 by 12 base, and I have some options here for the panels. I loved in our catalog how they use different size panels underneath the grid, and I thought that would be perfect for this. And I know there's some busy patterns, and on the right page I'll probably cover up some of the pattern with a grid, so that will tone down the busy pattern. And then on the left side I'm going to have a lot of color, because my idea is to have the balloons coming up down the middle and have them be all different colors. So I'm kind of struggling here with whether or not I really want too busy of a pattern over here, because I really don't want it to be like less is more sometimes. If you know you're going to have a lot of color, it's really important to do color balancing, because I learned this the hard way when a lot of my earlier workshops were like almost an explosion or a vomit of color. I hate to admit that, but hey, everyone has to start somewhere. And I really learned the hard way with some of my earlier layouts, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and even still currently, I can go overboard. You start to add and you add more and you add more and you add more, till all of a sudden it crosses over from being just the right balance to being too much. And it's too much of an explosion, and it's too much for our eye to take on. So I've learned a little bit over the years about color balance and equaling things out a little bit and anchoring things down with solid colors. And so I did photo mat my photos, of course, for another anchoring element. So there are 4x6 photos on the left of Zachary Allen, and then I put a white a 1/4 inch base, so 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then I actually did just a teeny 1/8 of an inch over that for a black on that. I love this pattern paper, the extra specialty black and white dot that comes in the paper, in the workshop kit, and it really tones things down. So I added the Busy Hero birthday paper, but I'm not convinced, because I almost feel like with the Busy Hero birthday paper on the left that I want to tone down the right by using the black dot and maybe Bluebird. Now these pieces are 5 by 9 1/4, and they fit perfectly inside my Cricut pocket. And I really think I do settle on that, but I'm going to hold that Hero birthday paper out because I may change my mind and I may want the color under there. And then the top of the grid is 8.5 by 8.5 black and 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 white. And I love that. I'm going to link in the description or post in the description the #M number for that Cricut pocket. #M numbers are numbers that if you search for those when you're in your Cricut, it will pull up the images. Now, my original idea for this is to put the busy pattern on the left and work with a title on the right. I loved the idea of having a title and then a subtitle, but it looks a little skimpy, so I may end up going with the red Celebrating You banner. I contemplated the green title, but I don't really have a lot of green. I contemplated the up and down title, but there's not enough space, and I really want to use the blue banner over on the grid on the right. So I really keep going back to this title subtitle idea, but it's kind of small and it doesn't quite pop like I want it to. So I do end up going with the Celebrating You banner, but I toggle back and forth while I'm trying to make my decision. I do love titles and then a subtitle underneath. And then I love almost everything about the grid. I may end up adding more photos than what they've added. I do end up going with a 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 photo, a 2.5 by 2.5 1.5 mat for the photos, as well as the rest of the squares in the grid, because I have an 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 white daisy piece to work on. So when I do the division, that is about the size that I need to be able to balance my grid. And so I have to narrow down my photos. So I might do one of each. So one with Zachary Allen and his wife and baby, one of Zachary Allen by himself, one of Zachary Allen with my husband Dana, one of Zachary with me, and then I think I'll have maybe one extra spot. I almost contemplate using 9 photos and just doing photos in the grid. And that's what I love about grids. You can do more photos, more decoration, less decoration, more embellishment, less embellishment. But I think I end up using 5 photos. I do maybe rearrange them a little bit. They're not the same as the inspiration in the catalog, which is okay. I love taking bits and pieces of my inspiration. So bits and pieces of the inspiration that I started with, and just using the bits and pieces that work for my photos. This is where is my final resting place. So I do 3 in a row across, and then I do 3 in a row up and down for a total of 5 photos. And I'm happy with that. I really like that combination. Now I went ahead and added the colors that are on the branding strip or the zip strip, and that is what I always start with. I always start with the colors. If you turn our pattern paper over and look at the top strip, it has the suggested colors for that workshop, and I trust close to my heart. They've been doing color for almost 40 years, and I have never gone wrong when I trust the colors that they suggest. So I did a 2.5-inch photo mat behind those 5 photos. I did black, I did jade, I did red, I did bluebird, and I did Sundance. And I want to do that because I want to balance the colors on the right with the colors on the left, and I'm going to have all those colors in balloons. Now, looking at their squares, they actually used 2 of the same squares in each corner and 2 of the same squares in the opposite corners. And I really, really love the square that has the Sundance smaller square and the Happy Birthday to You and many more sticker on it. I'd like to copy that or scrap lift that because I like that. I don't need 2 journal spots. So I'm going to do a 2-inch square in the white daisy for my journal up above. And I like the idea of using the white gel pen on my Bluebird base. That's a great idea. And using the white gel pen on a 2-inch Sundance square that I'm going to use in the bottom corner. So I'm just sort of figuring these out myself and figuring out my squares. Now, when I'm making a grid, I actually use a calculator because I am not a mathematical genius. I'm not even a mediocre mathematical person. I can't add to save my life. I can't figure out dimension to save my life. So I take my 8 1/4-inch square and I divide it by 9. And then I try to figure out, what I can fit in that and what my sizes can be, or I divide it by 3. If I have 3 rows, I will divide 8 1/4 by 3, and then I'll know the size that it can be with leaving spaces in between. I typically always do my top square and my bottom square, and then I put my middle square in equally so that I don't struggle with spacing on that. And then I typically try to leave an edge, and I try to leave white spacing in between because I think it's one more way to break up color. So that white background will help me to break up the color in those busy patterns. And now I'm just trying to reduplicate the parts in my inspiration that I love. So they used a little piece. Their pieces are larger than mine, but I used a 2-inch piece of the Happy Birthday zip strip, and then that blue happy birthday to you and more sticker over the top. And then I'm going to lay my journaling square up there, and I may be adding some bits and pieces to that. I wanted to get my basic grid together before I start working on my left focal page, because it gives me an idea of the balance from the left page to the right page. Now I have these pockets, and I don't want a ton of color to show in those pockets, so I really want to overlap my red and my Bluebird, just so that the red one, my candy apple one, is just peeking out over. And I actually found this pocket on the Cricut. I'll put the hashtag M number down for you, but I used the contour tool because it was a swirly pocket, like a girly jean. So it had like a little swirly pocket, and it didn't look like a Levi pocket. So I actually just took like 3 or 4 of the dashes out that made the swirly pocket so that it looked like a Levi pocket. Sometimes you'll get a Cricut image that just doesn't cut that well, and I found some other cute Levi pockets, and I tried cutting them, and the dashes were so tiny that they didn't cut well. And I always know that I'm in trouble because I do make a lot of Cricut cuts. My paper crafters have the option to get a Cricut cut option from me. Depending on the amount of their order, they can earn Cricut cuts from me. And so I like Cricut cuts that cut well. So I always do a first cut, and if it doesn't cut well, I typically pick a different design. Now I love adding that black Levi pocket over to the right. I think about doing hello 30 years. So I got that inspiration from the catalog, and the way that they use those stamps is the present says years, and then hello on the balloons, and then the numbers say the number. So you could do hello 50 years, hello 20 years, hello 5 years. I love that concept. So I may need to do some adding to that, but that's my tentative my gut instinct of what I might do over there, and then maybe add some party hats to that, add like some stickers to that as well. So I did speed up this portion quite a bit because the fussing around with the balloons is a challenge. It's not a challenge, it's just something that does take time. I want some of the balloon strings to show. I want the color to be balanced in the balloons. Like, I don't want to have a black with a black. I don't want to have a black down on the black pocket. I don't want to have a Bluebird right next to the Bluebird pocket. I want to have a nice combination of colors all the way through. And mostly in Zachary Allen's photos, there is like blue, and there's a blue and a dark blue, which almost looks like a sapphire and a Bluebird. And then he has black in the background where I did turning 30 looks good on you, or 30 looks good on you is what his birthday banner said. And so I kind of feel like the black accents in my photos help tone down a lot of the color as well. So you're getting color balance from your photos, you're getting color balance from left page to right page, and I'm definitely going to talk a little bit about color balance from the lower left to the upper right, from the left page to the right page. So by balancing that candy apple pocket on the lower left hand side, and the celebrating you sticker or the red balloon on the top, your eye can go up from the lower left candy apple to the upper right candy apple. It can go from the lower left Bluebird pocket to the top Bluebird balloon at the top. So you're kind of creating a little bit of balance. Now, sometimes I struggle when I put my pages together. I'll get it just the way I want it, but then I have to pull everything off, and then I can't remember the way that I had it. And so I will actually sometimes take a snapshot, like I will take a photo before I remove everything, or I will put a little bit of adhesive down, and you're going to see that I do a little bit of adhesive underneath the balloons because I want some of them to be flush, and I want to pop up just the tops of the other parts of them. You don't have to pop up the whole bottom of a balloon. You can leave the string hanging and then pop up just the top so that you're not getting so much foam tape that you have too much dimension in your scrapbook layout, but you have maybe just a little bit of thin 3D foam tape under the tip of the balloon to make the balloons look like they're floating. So I'm just playing around with some of the hello balloons, some of the plain balloons, and I really, really love the addition of our white gel pens. We don't carry our white gel pens anymore, but we had them for a long, long time, and most of the Close to My Heart paper crafters out there have those, and probably non-close to my heart paper crafters have those as well. They're kind of a go-to. But with the black accents in this, you can also do all of that same doodling that I did with your black Le Pen or a black journaling pen, your favorite pen that you like to do doodling with. And I think it would look really, really nice with the doodling with the black pen or the white gel pen. You could also do extra doodling around the black base. I chose not to, but you could also do that as well. So now I'm going to kind of be a little bit of a redneck here, and I'm just adding little tiny pieces of foam tape under the balloons, little tiny pieces of adhesive under the balloons, and then I will come back in when I'm all done and off camera, and I will use some liquid adhesive and some additional foam tape to secure everything down. I just didn't want to go to all the work of arranging the balloons, pull them off, and rearrange them again. So I just thought I can kind of jimmy rig it this way and get it so that I don't have to do double time on the work. So you're seeing me just manipulate my tape runner and just kind of pick up some pieces and tuck some pieces back under. And I'm getting a little happier with that arrangement and getting closer to feeling like I can embellish. And even though this is a busy layout and it's a colorful layout, really the heavy lifting is in the arranging. There was no heavy lifting in cutting, right? Because we had 4 5 by 9 1/4 inch base pieces. We had the large Cricut element that was over the 12 by 12 base, the large pockets from the Cricut, and really that was most of it. I mean, the most work that we're doing on this is arranging the smaller pieces. So just to reiterate, we had 2.5 by 2.5 inch pattern paper pieces in the grid. We had 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 inch photos, and I just released a video a few days ago on creating odd size photos and small size photos. It's like a 9-minute video. I'll link that here in the description. That might help you when you're making those photos, not having to crop off pieces of arms and your cake because you're trying to get the photos so tiny. I no longer crop photos. I use my PictureMate 400, and it's actually the magical app, which is the app that I use to resize. And so it's called Print to Size, and the app does the heavy lifting for me in terms of getting those so that they're beautiful, clear photos. The subjects are still in them. You don't have to cut the subjects off, but you can get those the size that you want for any style grid that you want. I do a lot of 3x3s in grids, but this one, because of the decorative elements in the background, had to be a little bit smaller. So I'm doing a little bit of color balancing here again. So you have that Bluebird pocket in the lower left, and then you're going to look up to the Bluebird balloon, but I also have the Bluebird hat, and I'm thinking about the Bluebird sticker here. So we do have the birthday boy sticker that's pink, but I opted not to use a lot of the ballerina in this one. But you're going to see when I finish the rest of the layouts in this series that I actually have my daughter's decade birthday, 30th birthday from almost 4 years ago, and then I have my daughter-in-law's decade birthday from that's it, 3 years ago. So this one's almost 2 years ago and then she's a little older than Zachary. So yeah, so I'm going to do 2 more decade birthdays with this series, but I'm going to do a color switch because you can pull out the pinks in it. You can pull out all the colors. My daughter-in-law actually does not like pink. So I may not pull out pink for her, but my daughter I think she's wearing a pink tiara in her 30th birthday. And so I think it will be really fun to watch everything unfold from feminine layouts to masculine layouts and going from pockets to crowns. And I think that's what I love about Let's Party. You can do infant, toddler, child, decade birthdays. You can do old birthdays. I have a few of those. And so I think I really love that idea. So again, arranging bits. I kind of love repeating the 30 up in the upper right corner. So symmetry again, or asymmetry. So we have the 30 in the left-hand corner of the left page, putting that 30 years up in the upper right corner of the right page. And then you get the color balance on the right page, the black pocket in the lower left, the black 30 in the upper right. I did try that with Bluebird, but I wasn't getting the color balance. So it is wonderful to think about physical balance. You can go, if you think about Zachary Allen's picture on the upper left and his picture on the lower right of the left page, that is an asymmetrical balance. And then all of the grid work is symmetrical balance. And then you have color balance. So I'm balancing black with black from lower left to upper right, blue with blue from upper left to upper right, and red with red from lower left to upper right, and kind of just being cognizant. When you look at it, it is an explosion of color, but it isn't a discomfort. It's not an uncomfortable explosion of color. And I've had a few. I've had more than a few where I get done and I'm just like, wow, that is too busy for me. And I regret it. And I have learned the hard way to figure out how to have a lot of color, a lot of vibrancy, a lot of busy, a lot of photos, but still achieve both physical balance and color balance. So I'm getting happy. I'm getting happier. So I'm pulling out some of those acrylic shapes. I pulled out some of those stickers, and I'm just using a few of those acrylic shapes. We don't need much, right? I like that little yay sticker in the lower right. I like a few little stars. And again, I'm showing you the balance. Here's the color balance, the red balloon with the red circle sticker. And I'm happy. I hope that you got some great tips on color balance with this layout and that you enjoyed it. You got some entertainment value as well as some wonderful inspiration and tips. And I mostly hope that you love our brand new Let's Party collection. If you don't have a maker and you need hooked up with our brand new catalog that launched on January 1st, I would love to hook you up and draw you into my Snips by Kelly paper crafting group, where we have so much fun and so much inspiration from each other. I would love to have you and welcome you in. Won't you take a moment to hit subscribe, like, share, and the notifications bell. It really goes a long way on YouTube, and it keeps me motivated to keep these videos coming for all of you. Shoot me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. That is another thing that really keeps me motivated, is hearing from paper crafters all over the world. Happy scrapping, everyone. Bye-bye.